Good morning. Mostly work in Scotland yesterday, and I hope that, particularly with the Rangers match, that you did get out at the equaliser. That was the key trade yesterday, not necessarily the win. But as I've shown you in the past with the likes of Rangers, if you do at least negate the liability on Hibernian, that will save you the embarrassment of a 1-2 Hibs win. Don't forget, I think I mentioned it was a must-win for Hibs. And it's season over, realistically, for Rangers, isn't it, in the title push. Let's take a look. I'm just subtly increasing my stakes, as you can see there, to 50. I want to get used to that. I'm so used to 40 being a very comfortable liability. Just bump it up to 50, and then eventually, if I can double it up to 80, we can start getting some decent returns. You can already see with that Celtic £70 profit there. It was a bit of luck. Last gasp penalty. An absolutely emphatic performance from Manchester City, as you would expect of these odds. 3-0, 3-1, any other home score at 1.3 or lower, and the potential for a breakthrough before half-time. Did we see that yesterday? Let's have a look. 32nd and 40th minute. So when you see this in the future, 1.3 or lower, there is an inference that short odds equal goals. What I would normally say with this scoreline is 3-0, 3-1, any other home score. And what I would recommend, it doesn't come in all the time, but when it does come in, you will be very well rewarded. If it's 0-0 after 20 minutes for a 1.3 favourite, back 1-0, 2-0, any unquoted in the half-time score market, and then stick Omar Marmoush on your Christmas card list, because he would have got you a double figure return. Not too shabby. Stockport County did the perfect scoreline for a second leg playoff when you're 1-0 down. Stevenage, I won 480 quid on Stevenage with a risk-free. Lay the draw at 1.07. On Stockport, sorry, with that, was it Stockport with that 1-0? Home advantage, bang. Emphatic stuff. In French League 1, well, it's title winning for PSG. Lens giving a good account of themselves in play stats wise, but this would have been a very, very late play if I was to lay PSG at 0-1. It would have to be very late. That's Inter Milan, one of those sides, unlike Dortmund, with 3 defeats and 4 once the season is over. Inter Milan continue to win. That made them very strong favourites yesterday, but no real trading angle in the Coppa Italia. SPL, Hearts, emphatic. Celtic, not emphatic. Last gasp winner, but a nice return. Rangers and Hibs, we were looking for the equaliser. If I could show you the in-play stats that I saw at 0-1 Hibs, that's why I passed on to you. Rangers highly likely to equalise. Now, in the future, if you're staying in for the win and you get a 1-1, particularly if it's a 1-1 before half-time, let's have a look to see whether this was a 1-1 before half-time. So Rangers, let's have a look. Indeed, it was a 1-1 before half-time. So that gives you carte blanche then to cash out. And if you want to stay with Rangers, at least negate that liability on Hibernian at 1-1 before half-time. The market will already be inferring a Rangers win because they've already done the job before half-time. Got to parity. Captain Scarlett with a 90th minute winner for Hibs. That changes their standings as well. That puts them, well, with the Motherwell losing, I don't think they can catch them, can they? Because only, I think, the 1 day left. But you'll see the European places better on soccer24.com. Then you can see whether indeed Hibs had anything to play for. Well, I suggest yes. No coincidence, 2 consecutive wins now. And I did mention, any side that has nothing to play for psychologically switches off. Now, when you're out of the title race, you can't be caught in third. Your European place is not under jeopardy. It's the old Dortmund dilemma, isn't it? But, of course, this is just sloppiness, losing to Celtic and Hearts when you needed to get the win. And then a last gasp Motherwell winner there has put to bed Rangers' title hopes. I hope you're enjoying the sounds of my neighbour with his lovely power drill. He's having a great time with it this morning. In La Liga, not much to get us interested. And yet another case of the old Dortmunds. As soon as the title is over, Barcelona start losing matches. Ordinarily, they win 10 times out of 10 on form. So this is an important distinction to make. Once the season is over, you've just got to be extremely cautious. Yes, arguably, depending on the timing of the Alaves goal, you could have, with insurance, looked for a Barcelona equaliser. Ibrahim Diabate, right at the end of the first half, you could have had a go second half, covered that 1-0 scoreline, and just hoped that form lines, like Atletico Madrid against Osasuna, form lines would better need. Atletico Madrid by far the better side against Osasuna on form, but without any great need. Getafe and Mallorca, I was impressed with the stats analysis of this. I've got a new app out, which I'll show you a bit later. Super Etten, we will start getting an interest in this league now, once we get the major leagues out of the way. I would suspect with the Super Etten, as you can see there, bar Oster, it tends to be a good league for the neutral player. I would be happier playing neutrally here. I don't know enough about Varberg, Oddervolt, Nordic United, the mighty Nordic United, to really trade with great confidence. Let's have a look onto today's trading angles, and it looks like I think the weekend will be better for us than tonight. Banker list. Well, the Belgians have been delivering. Mr. Power Tool, I'm going to close the door. There we go. Landspokkel Cup, bit of fun. Copenhagen Midtjylland, as you can see, 2.45 to favourite. Both teams to score could be a good scenario here. This will be one of Copenhagen's toughest matches since they've been dominating the relegation part of the Danish Superliga, where they shouldn't really be. They should be vying for the title. Bradford and Bolton. Let's have a look at the latest score. (1-0) 60th minute Bolton goal. So yet another one of those matches, playoffs, fitting in with that lay of over 0.5 goals at the start of the match. And then you've got a free lay the draw second half. As long as the match does not end in a score draw, you will win. The new look statistical analysis. This is what I used to do manually. It may not be suited for this time of the season, where it's more context than seasonal patterns. But this is an excellent way to get a look at the seasonal look statistically. So if the match were to go to form lines and statistics, this is how it would turn out. Highly inconsistent Valencia, one thing to note. Rayo Vallecano, 4-match unbeaten streak. So this is all about context, isn't it, this particular stage of the season. What this report doesn't do is pick up context. All it does is analyse football statistics from soccerstats.com. So you've got your streaks and sequences. Failed to score in 53% of their away matches. That's a slight concern, isn't it? high tendency to lose to nil when playing away from home as well. That's not too hot. League position. This is the challenge table look. So when the home side are playing teams around their opponents in the league, high frequency of draws. So that's notable, isn't it? High frequency of draws around teams around them in the league. And away from home, Rayo Vallecano struggled significantly against teams in Valencia's 11th to 15th ranked bracket. I like this kind of contextual form for the league table. It does give you an indication of how teams can pick up certain results in certain parts of the league. You'd be more favouring Valencia, wouldn't you? Possibility of laying right. But for me, Rayo are in the form at the moment. Goals as well, goal timing. 83% of home goals scored in the second half for Valencia. That's quite something, isn't it? Rayo Vallecano, 57% of their away goals coming in the first half. This is the final analysis. 65% confidence. That's not hugely confident, isn't it? 1-1 draw yet again for Valencia. Most common score for Valencia at home. Again, this is the key word. This conclusion is purely statistical. It's as simple as that. We can look at context to see whether there's actually any carrot or stick for either of these two, and it's a quite simple task. Well, you could have used this, of course. I prefer to use Soccer 24's standings because they do indicate, as you can see, colour-wise, any motivation factor or otherwise. So Valencia, you're finding here, 42, still wide open. So this is what statistical analysis of soccer stats won't tell you. It's the context. So Valencia, huge need for a win. Rayo Vallecano, huge need for a win. With that entry point for Real Sociedad at 44. They've qualified for Europa League phase. Okay, that must have been through playing European competition already. Girona and Sociedad next. Talk about need for points. Girona, with a win, could exit the relegation zone. They've got a marginal poor goal difference over their competitors, so the importance now is for them to do something. 3 defeats in 4, though. They're losing just at the wrong time. Real Sociedad, 2 defeats in 4 and no win in 5. And my neighbour is delighted with his brand new power tool. God bless him. So plenty of need for these two, not picked up with the contextual, with the statistical analysis. This is what would happen if it was season-long and based on season-long stats. Girona in a slump, failing to win in any of the last 5. It's awful stuff. Sociedad also struggling for points. Failed to win in the last 4 away. League position, well, facing top half teams like Sociedad at home, Girona has struggled significantly, suffering losses to Madrid, Betis and Rayo Vallecano. Real Sociedad, mixed record away, but bottom half teams around Girona's 18th have secured 1-0 wins against Alaves and Real Oviedo. So that trouble with that second goal for Sociedad could bite them on the backside. Goal patterns, 32% of home goals scored in the final 15 minutes. That's quite a good stat, isn't it? It's particularly at this stage of the season, you'll be looking at late action. Draw 1-1 yet again. I just hope this isn't a coincidence and AI has not... what AI does now and again is if it finds itself picking too many home wins or too many XYZs, it will start to look at other scorelines. It could just be coincidental, but there is reasoning for these 2 1-1s. They're in poor form. Sociedad's high both teams to score frequency, and the fact that 1-1 is their most common away result makes a low-scoring draw the most statistically probable outcome. And again, this is the key word here for this research: statistically. It'll be great at the beginning of the new season or next season when there's about 9 or 10 matches. We can start having a sweep of the stats. Real Madrid Oviedo is effectively a dead rubber. but this would be how the match would progress statistically. Well, it's rather obvious. That is 85%, not 0.85, I would suggest. Habit of losing by 2+ goals against top 5 opponents. Yeah, okay. Real Madrid has a streak of conceding at home. Oviedo's offensive impotence suggests the potential win 2-0 for the host. This is a complete and utter dead rubber. Be very, very careful if you're playing it. And the final match of the day is the Swedish Superettan Ljungskile against Sundsvall, 1.65 home favourite. 4 defeats in 5, and you're a favourite. Right. Yeah. A win and 5 defeats for Sundsvall, priced as a redemption match for Ljungskile at 4 o'clock. So we want to have a look at that one. With 3 1-0 defeats for Ljungskile, if Sundsvall do score, they look to be liable with insurance. A la Rangers yesterday, looking for at least a 1-0 defeat. That would be a break even. If they equalise, as you would suggest, 1.65, then that would be your angle. Just a quick look at the tennis. And is there one you would have spotted in Rome? I hope so. Local lad in his hometown or his home country's prominent tennis tournament. He's going to give 110%, cover every blade of grass. Wins the first set in a tiebreaker. Jodar, the Madrid player, 1.44 favourite, returns with a 1-1, and that's when you get out. Because that's all I've asked for. All I've asked for is Darderi to win the first set, ideally in a tiebreaker, and then for the fight back. Not necessarily looking for the win. Like the Rangers match yesterday, if you get out at the 1-1, boom. Or at least negate liability if you've gone for the 2-1. So not much else doing there yesterday with the ladies. Do look out for these 3 setters and see whether you would have played them or if there's a trading angle. Not really here with a 1.4 favourite winning the first set. I wouldn't have seen that. Elina Svitolina against Rybakina. Looking at the rankings, perhaps, could give you an indication. 10th against 2nd. So arguably, Svitolina is no mug, is she? So that's a look at today. You're probably not going to be hearing from me this evening, members. I don't think there's enough volume to get me interested in trading this evening. And the lesson from yesterday, with the Rangers match, it's vitally important. If I say, for example, I expect an equaliser, that's a key. Because once you get the equaliser, it's important, I think, if you're going to be stuck with Rangers, to negate that liability. Should have done it with Celtic as well. And that would have saved me the heartache of sweating it out for that 98th minute or whatever it was, Celtic penalty winner. So remember, you have an opportunity to cash out at the first occasion, particularly if you get an equaliser before half-time. Make sure you negate that liability because surprises have happened. We negated that liability, Rangers against Motherwell at 2-2. And guess who won? Motherwell. So had I stuck with that match and stuck with Rangers for the win without doing anything, I would have made a full liability loss. So it's important trading, isn't it? Once you get an equaliser, have a think about whether to cash out or not. And that will save you a lot of heartache. So have a great day this evening. It's a bit of a tricky coupon. Not much to motivate us. There is plenty to motivate in Spain from a European perspective with Valencia Rio and at both ends of the table with Girona desperately needing a win and Sociedad needing to maintain a European berth as well. So it might be in La Liga you might get some action today. If you want to lay over 0.5 goals at the start of the match here, Bradford and Bolton, give it a go. But for me, put the foot on the gas urgency-wise now that they're a goal down. So cautious. It worked very well in the Championship, didn't it? Looking for a 0-0 at half-time. So have a great day. I might see members later, but it's not the most compelling coupon on the planet, is it? And do, as well, remember your tennis. Have a great day, and I'll see you again tomorrow.